They once called her evil, an outcast, a girl cursed from birth. But destiny had other plans. This is the story of Zina, the girl who walked through shadows and now stands at the edge of a throne. The return of Prince Obize had brought great joy to the kingdom of Udu. For the first time in many years, the king smiled with the relief of having a son, a successor. But joy was quickly followed by duty. The elders reminded the king, "Your Highness, the prince must marry. A crown cannot sit without a queen." Araize was already married. Princesses from faraway lands were suggested. Names of noble daughters filled the air, but the king's heart was restless. And as he looked across the court, his eyes fell on one young woman, quiet, graceful, with a fire hidden deep in her eyes. Zina, the girl they once called evil. Far from the noise of the palace, Zina walked to the great sacred tree, the one she always turned to for guidance. She placed her hand on its rough bark and closed her eyes. Then, the wind rose suddenly, whispering words only her spirit could hear. 7 days, 7 days, the secret will be known." Zina stepped back, her heart pounding. What secret? Why 7 days? She looked up into the swaying branches, but no answer came. On the 3rd day, a visitor arrived in Udu, a traveler with weary eyes and clothes that spoke of distant roads. He bowed before the king and said, "Your Majesty, I bring news of blood hidden in shadows. Years ago, during the wars, your sister bore a child. She died protecting her. That child still lives." The court gasped. The king's hand trembled on his staff. "My sister! But she was lost, along with her family. Where is this child?" The visitor's eyes searched the court, then rested on Zina. The whisper spread like wildfire. Could it be true? Was Zina of royal blood? The nobles reacted with outrage. "Impossible! She is cursed! She should never sit among us, let alone beside the prince. The spirits warned us before. If you let her rise, doom will follow." Zina stood silent, her hands clenched. The king's voice thundered across the hall. "Enough! You speak of doom, yet she has brought nothing but light to my daughter and now my son. Hold your tongues, or I will silence them myself." Still, the sting of rejection pierced Zina's heart. She turned to leave the hall, but the prince stepped into her path. Prince Obize looked into Zina's eyes. "You call her cursed, yet I see strength. You call her evil, yet I see kindness. Zina, don't let their words bury you. Something greater is waiting." For the first time, Zina's eyes softened. She had always been alone, but in that moment, she knew she was no longer unseen. 7 days passed. The king called for a gathering. The visitor stood in the middle of the hall, his voice steady. "The child your sister bore carried a mark burned at birth to prove her bloodline. Look at Zina's arm." Gasps filled the chamber as Zina slowly rolled up her sleeve. There, clear as the morning sun, was the mark, the same mark of Udu's royal line. The hall erupted in shock. The king's crown nearly slipped as he staggered back. My sister's daughter, all these years here in my palace? Oh, merciful heavens! Tears welled in his eyes. He reached forward, trembling. Forgive me, child. Forgive me for not knowing. Zina could not hold back her tears. For the first time, she was no longer the girl they called evil. She was family. The king turned to the council. Hear me now. From this day forth, Zina is no orphan, no outcast. She is of my blood, my sister's child, my niece, a daughter of Udu's royal house. The crowd murmured, some in disbelief, others in joy. And then the prince stepped forward. Father, if she is of royal blood, if she is truly your sister's daughter, then I ask permission to take her hand, for I see no queen more worthy beside me than Zina. The hall froze. Zina gasped. The king's eyes glistened. Slowly, he nodded. So it be.
That night, Udu shook with joy. Drums thundered, women danced with fire in their hands. Children sang Zina's mame in the streets. The girl who was once mocked, feared, and cast aside was lifted high as queen beside the prince. The king, watching from his throne, whispered to himself, "At last, my house is whole. At last, destiny is complete." And yet, as the night wore on, Zina stood by the balcony, staring at the moon. The wind brushed past her ear again, whispering words that made her heart tremble. Your journey is not over, Queen Zina. Greater trials await. Her eyes narrowed. The story was far from finished. And so, the girl they once called evil became the queen of a nation. But will the crown bring peace, or will it uncover darker secrets hidden in the shadows of Udu? Stay with us, for the story continues. Subscribe to My African Folktales TV for more fresh African folktales and moral stories every week. Like, share, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter of Zina's journey.